Hi, my name's Tom Herbert and I'm a 5th generation baker, and my family business, Hobbs House Bakery, has built up a fantastic reputation for our award-winning loaves, and I believe anybody can make great bread at home, and I want to share with you my recipe for a great white bread. And this is my brother Henry Herbert, he's a chef.
Tom's white bread is so versatile. I can make pittas, focaccia, pizza bases, the list is endless, and I'm going to show you how.
In order to bake at home, there's just a few bits of kit you've got to have, and they are an oven. Any oven will do, but if it will fire up to 230 degrees, then that's going to be perfect for baking. Next, you'll need a baking stone. They look like this, otherwise known as pizza stones or baking tile. That'll help to keep the heat in your oven. A good quality mixer like this will take some of the effort out of home baking, but if you don't have one, then a simple mixing bowl like this would be just fine. A decent pair of digital scales are really helpful for weighing up your dough. A scraper is an essential bit of baking kit. You'll also need some cling film. You'll also need a water sprayer and a loaf tin. A sharp knife is crucial. You'll definitely need a decent pair of oven gloves. Right, that's all the kit. Let's get baking. This is my recipe for white bread. First, you're going to need 560 grams of strong white flour. I get mine from Shipton Mill. Then you'll need 10 grams of sea salt. $10 grams of fresh yeast. You can use dried, just follow the instructions. Then you're going to need 300 millilitres of warm water. And 20 millilitres of rapeseed oil. This stuff's great because not only does it grow locally, but it's better for you too. Okay, just to recap, 560 grams of good strong white flour, 10 grams of sea salt, 10 grams of fresh yeast, 300 millilitres of warm water, and 20 millilitres of rapeseed oil. So I'm going to weigh all the ingredients directly into the mixing bowl. First I'm going to weigh in the flour. $560 grams. Now I need 10 grams of sea salt. The great thing about sea salt is that it's more salty, so you don't have to use as much. Then you need 10 grams of fresh yeast to make the dough rise. Now I need 300 millilitres of warm water. And I'm going to weigh this because 300 millilitres weighs 300 grams. And finally, 20 millilitres of rapeseed oil, so I'm going to weigh 20 grams. Now I'm going to show you how to mix and knead this by hand. This is going to take at least 15 minutes. So first, with your scraper, just work the dough round inside the bowl. This dough feels lovely and warm, and at this stage it's quite a dry mixture. It's not sticking to my hand too much. I'll do this for about a minute until all the ingredients have come together, then tip it out onto the work surface. Now we need to knead the dough. So I'm going to use the palm of my hand And I'm going to use all of my body weight, so I'm going to lean into this. And simply what I'm doing is stretching the dough in a simple and rhythmic action. Push it across the table, lift it up, bring it back. Push it across the table, bring it back. All the time lifting it up off the table and bringing it back towards me. You'll notice I'm resisting the urge to use any flour at all for dusting. After 8 minutes, the dough's really starting to come together. It's clean off the table and it's almost clean off of my hands. So you'll know you're making good progress when that starts to happen. But it's just not smooth enough yet. And this dough hasn't got the elasticity that I need. So I'm going to work this a little bit longer. So I've been working that dough 15 minutes straight. It's beautiful and smooth and stretchy. One way to test it is just to take a little piece off and try teasing it out. And if you hold it up to a light, you can see how smooth you've worked it. That'll be just perfect for holding in those yeasty exhalations that will rise us a fantastic dough. All I need to do now is put it back in the bowl, cover it with some cling film and leave it in a warm place to double in size. It should take no longer than an hour. Great, it's doubled in size. Now we're going to make a loaf out of it. Now you need to knock the dough back and release some of that gas that's built up inside. Your dough's now really stretchy and it's going to rise really well. But first we have to mould it into a loaf shape. So here's my loaf tin, and what you need to do is know its length so that you can mould your loaf to fit. So with just the smallest dusting of flour to stop the dough sticking, you want to just gently tease out your dough piece into an oblong like this. Knock out some of the air with your hand. Make sure it doesn't stick to the table. Then divide your dough into 3 pieces in your mind's eye. Fold one bit over like this, and then another third over like this. And then using my knuckles, you need to just make a seam by pressing down quite hard on the dough piece like this. Now with your fingers and thumbs, you just need to roll this towards you. Sticking it down with my thumbs, rolling it forward with my fingers, sticking it down with my thumbs, and just gently roll it up. You don't want to do this too hard or otherwise the dough will tear. So if it starts to tear on the outside, you know you're doing it too hard. Until you've got a lovely seam along the bottom and it's just the right length to fit in your tin. Now all we have to do, give it a dusting of flour so it doesn't stick. And use that same piece of cling film to stop your dough piece drying out. Now your loaf's ready for its second rise, its final proof. So the ideal place to leave it to do this is on top of your oven while you're heating it up to 230 degrees. This should only take about half an hour or until it's doubled in size. The loaf's doubled in size, it's ready to go in. And I'm going to cut this loaf, and to do that you need a really sharp knife and just a sure and quick movement. You've got to make sure it doesn't snag, and this is your opportunity to give your loaf your own unique signature. I'm going to give the baking stone a quick squirt. Put that in, a couple more squirts. Spraying a fine mist into the oven increases the humidity, and this will help your loaf to have a really great shiny crust. Baking your loaf shouldn't take any more than half an hour. So Henry, I've made you a batch of white dough. How are you going to do that justice?
Well, it's so versatile, we can do so many things with it, but I think we should make pita bread. And I've got some lovely pork belly, which I'm going to roast off really slowly, get a nice glaze on it, and we're going to have like pulled pork. And I think we should make some pizza bases straight in the stone base oven, and then we get some nice toppings for the kids. And then I think we should make some focaccia for when people arrive. You know, rock salt, rosemary, get it on.
Oh, that'd be really nice for them.
Nice and warm, they can just tear it off.
Okay, great.
1/3. We'll split in half again. So what we'll do is we're just gonna fold them into the middle. Bit of olive oil, get the bases in. 20 minutes, half an hour to prove up, spread them out. This is just par baking it, and then later on you can put your toppings on and put it back in the oven. With focaccia, you push it in. After 10 minutes, it'll grow a little bit and prod it out again. Do that 3 times. We'll put some rock salt and some rosemary, and then we'll bake it in the oven. Half an hour to grow. Roll them out, and you put them into an incredibly hot oven onto the base.
The loaf's had half an hour in here now. Look at that fantastic golden colour. Let's see if it's baked. Great colour underneath. And that's because it's baked on the oven tile. Really gets the heat into the base of the loaf. Helps lift it up. Sounds hollow when it's tapped underneath. She's done.